country and enjoy as faster internet as I can get in any city in Europe. There is no reason why we shouldn't, because we are building infrastructure, and migrating from analog to digital broadcasting provides us an opportunity to avail more spectrum to enable our mobile telephony, to enable our broadband footprint to expand in the country. This is why we need to migrate, and surely time is here for us to do it.
Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu tamtamu, lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako na tano yangu. Na mnawajua nyinyi, mnawajua.
People and so on. That is why they are described broadly as tests and measurement. They are supposed to measure our abilities. In other words, the question we are supposed to ask after an exam is, what can I do? What does the exam therefore say I can do? The exam may say, okay, you have abilities and you have gifts to be a doctor, you have gifts to be a teacher, you have capacity to be an engineer, and so on and so forth. From the student who's...
As we speak right now, as I speak to you right now, we have a National Police Reserve in some parts of North Rift. There has never been a time we have withdrawn National Police Reserves from North Rift or any part of the country. What happens in the security sector all the time is reviews are done from time to time, depending on the needs, what is needed in a particular area. And in most cases, consultations are done even with the local groups. I have been in meetings with some leaders of the North Rift sometimes, civic leaders and Wananchi, who tell you, reduce the number of guns in the hands of civilians. Let us have police officers to do this work. In some areas, Wananchi themselves and even their political leaders tell you we need a deployment of police reservists. And I can tell you for a fact, if you spoke to the Inspector General of Police, or better still, if you went to the Regional Police Commander in Nakuru, he will tell you we have National Police Reservists in some parts of North Rift. There has never been a time we have withdrawn police officers from a particular part of the country. I mean, we don't provide security because of an individual. We have a constitutional responsibility to protect our people. That's the responsibility of any government. So that is why, to be very honest with you, I frankly don't like spending time commenting on some of these flippant and petty political things, because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know, people lying. They lie about anything. They can't tell you anything. Probably the only truth about them is their name. They lie all the time. It's saying things that don't exist. And partly also, by the way, people would do better if they did their job. Because if they attended the meetings they are supposed to attend, if they sought briefs from the people they are supposed to be briefed, they will be briefed effectively, instead of now going to embarrass themselves in that kind of manner where you say things that don't exist. And ask yourself the question, how do police officers, especially senior police officers who are managing the security sector, feel when they see their leader lying? You know what has happened with this election, and I said it in another meeting, that after the COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It's the pandemic of lies. You know, people stand up and they say things that they think make sense. You know, I've been looking at politicians, and fortunately I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn, and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader, tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda, I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time you have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties, you have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it. You know, when you keep saying this deep state, who is that? And the people who are using that phrase and complaining are members of the National Security Council. They hold public offices. They tell you they are powerful people. So who is that? No, this facade and stories that are being coined and being bandied around, just so that people create excuses and they camouflage around things that don't exist to survive, or create excuses and pathways of lying and carrying the public along with them. I want to ask you as church ministers, I am your son, and as a public servant, we have a country to serve. Let us not be victims of some of these lies that you keep hearing around, but things that just don't make sense even to a fool. How will you tell people? Yeah. How will you stand up? I'm asking you. How, Bishop, how will you stand up in public and tell me, who is that? And then you don't even have the courage enough to take a decision and say, okay, because I don't agree with the Attorney General and all these people, me, I'm not going to be party to you. In the morning, you speak like government. In the afternoon, you speak like opposition. You see, the question, let's be honest. You see, the total annihilation of common sense and betrayal of common sense in the political practice in this country is shocking. When you tell people about there being who is that? What is that deep state? The Inspector General who seated here? We have passed a constitution that requires... I don't have time for rabble-rousers. Watu wa kuongea maneno tu huko, kudanganya wananchi, kujifanya hapa, kupita hapa, kuambia watu Bwana Yesu asifiwe, na wao ni wanafiki. I have no business with those types of people. I keep the company of serious people. Joshua Kochuni, huyu Kale Mwamizi hapa, wanatireni, ni watu ambao wanafanya kazi. Young people who are focused, committed, na kazi wanafanya inaonekana. And you can see 7 buses are there. Sasa mtu kama huyu, si mtu wako serious? Ya watu kama hao ndio mimi nataka kufanya kazi nao. Nimekuja na ndugu yangu hapa, Richard Onyonka. Sababu najua yeye ndiye anaelewa hii kitu ya siasa kuliko mimi. Namwambia anaenda kule nje, twende na wewe, unajua vile watu wanaongea hii maneno, unieleze vile tutaenda kukaa na wale ndugu zetu wa pande ile. Mimi ninataka kutetea wajumbe wa bunge kwa hii mambo ya CDF, kwa sababu tunaona vile hii CDF inatumika na matunda yake.
Si iko Mungu mbinguni? Sisi ni Wakristo na tunamwamini Mwenyezi Mungu. Na Mungu atafanya mapenzi yake. Binadamu wanaweza panga mambo mingi, lakini iko Mungu mbinguni. Muendelee kutuombea, muendelee kuombea nchi yetu. Sisi tulichaguliwa na watu wengi hawa ya Embu, si ndio? Sijui kama tawezekana tulichaguliwa na hii watu yote tufukuzwe na watu wachache. Hiyo ni haki kweli watu ya Embu? Na ndio mimi namshukuru huyu mjumbe wenu Getonga Mukunji, alipiga kura, alisikiza watu wa Embu vile wanasema. Hata huyu Dabwen alikuwa ameandika barua, akakuja Embu, akasikiza watu, akapinduka. Akafuata vile wananchi wanafanya nini? Kwa sababu sisi zote ni watu ya kuchaguliwa. Na ni mzuri usikize ile watu ambao wamefanya nini? Kwa hivyo watu wa Embu mlichagua mimi na President William Ruto, mkatupatia kura zenu zote. Tungeuliza uamuzi wa raia uheshimike. Kwa sababu raia wanapiga kura miaka 5. Na ni mzuri kuheshimu uamuzi wa nini? Lakini sisi tuna imani kubwa sana na mahakama zetu. Our judiciary is very professional, and I have no doubt in my mind that our eminent judges will protect and uphold the Constitution, the rule of law, and always make sure that the will of the people is sovereign. Na tukiwa, that is the way a good country runs. So watu wa Kenya wako na imani sana, and they have faith that our